think the minimum age to vote should be 12.
But yeah, I'm very sorry if I contributed to the appropriation of African American vernacular English.
Hey everybody, I'm Brad Polumbo, and welcome back to Brad vs. TikTok, my series where I take on the craziest and cringiest ideas going viral on the Clock app. We got a bunch of insanity to dive into today, but if you're new here, consider liking, commenting, subscribing, yada yada yada. Now, let's jump into it, because I don't know how long I'll be able to go through this without losing too many brain cells and experiencing irreparable brain damage. Up first, this TikToker has some thoughts on men.
Why do men speak? Why do they breathe? Why do they have opinions? Why do they have thoughts, ideas, and dreams? It always seems to be some bull that affects my joy. And I can't anymore. I can't do it anymore. Please, God, relinquish me from the demons that you set forth on this earth, Lord. Amen.
Girl, are you okay? Is everything all right? Look, I'd like to think that this is a joke. I think it's at least in part a joke, but it's also at least partially meant seriously. I mean, if you look at the comments, this has 9 million views and over 2 million likes on TikTok. So there's a lot of people there who genuinely are joining in on this anti-men narrative. It just makes me sad. Honestly, sad for the men who are being collectively judged and stigmatized for the actions of others, and sad for the women who apparently have had such bad experiences with men that they are at this point or relate to this in some way where they genuinely do judge or revile all men. It's all so divisive and unfair and frankly toxic. And unfortunately, videos like this are just part and parcel of this bigger pattern we're seeing online, these gender wars. Men and women at each other's throats, generalizing, stereotyping, casting broad brushes, and throwing shade at each other. It's just dividing us further and turning us all against each other, and it's not funny, and it needs to stop. Up next, even the wokest TikTokers can't keep up with the ever-changing standards of the online mob.
I made a video and used the term autism instead of autism, and I did not know that this was AAVE, or African American Vernacular English. I'm really disappointed at myself for not knowing this, because it's nobody's job to educate me but my own. But I did not know, and now I know better. And hopefully those who saw that video and did not know that that was a term only used by Black autistics, now you know. So I'm very sorry, and I don't want anybody to think I'm ignoring you. TikTok automatically filters comments that they think are offensive or hate. And for some reason, a lot of the comments that I responded to are deleted, like this one. They were just letting me know that it was AAVE and it was not a term I could use. But yeah, I'm very sorry if I contributed to the appropriation of African American vernacular English, because that was not my goal at all. But I learned something new, and hopefully the people who watch this video also learn something new.
It must be so exhausting, like genuinely tiring, to be a woke content creator and constantly afraid of your own audience, afraid of the mob, and walking on eggshells trying to not ever say or do anything slightly offensive to some unhinged group of people on the internet. I mean, this is an autistic TikTok creator who deleted her video because she described herself as autism, and apparently that's not allowed. Apparently that's Black slang. This dramatic apology about how she's very sorry for causing this harm, like no one was hurt. Like, come on, nobody was harmed. Nobody's life was adversely affected in any way by you using a word. This is also just how language works, babe. Words often start out in one community or in one specific subculture, and then are widely adopted and spread throughout the general population. It's just not the case that words can only ever be used by the group of people that originally started using them. If that was the case, we wouldn't really have a functioning language. But you know what? Maybe when I see this kind of insane woke flagellation on TikTok, it's actually a sign of progress. Because things must be pretty good overall if this is the kind of thing you're left worrying about. Up next, do American flags make you feel unsafe?
So I just moved to the suburbs from San Francisco. Everything looks a little bit pale orange because California's on fire. So that's that. But what really makes me feel unsafe here is the vast amount of American flags I see. Like, I walked around like like a 3, 4, 5 block radius. And I saw so many American flags, and that makes me feel so unsafe. Like, I'm afraid of the people here.
I hope he's trolling. Like, I hope this is a joke, because if it's serious, then, babe, you gotta put down the crack pipe. If you actually moved out of San Francisco and into the suburbs, and then you feel less safe, you are utterly detached from reality, my friend. Like, babe, you are objectively safer and less likely to be the victim of a crime in the suburbs of San Francisco than in San Francisco itself. And I genuinely can't fathom why American flags would make you feel unsafe. You can't assume anything about anyone just because they fly an American flag. I mean, I know it's verboten on woke corners of the internet, but people from all walks of life still do that. Democrats, liberals, black, white, that is a very common thing. You can't assume anything about your neighbors just because they fly an American flag. I mean, it's literally the suburbs of San Francisco. At least I'm pretty sure that's what he's talking about. So even if you're seeing more American flags because people have more yard space and lawns, you're still probably surrounded by Obama voting libs. But also the assumption that you'd somehow be unsafe if you were living around conservatives or patriots or MAGA people is completely unfounded. Like, give me a break. You may disagree with them, but them having different ideas doesn't endanger your safety in any way. I'm sorry, but if you don't feel safe in this situation, that's unfortunate, but it's a you problem, babe. It's something you need to work on and fix because you have lost touch with reality. It's not your neighbors who are doing anything wrong. Up next, do you think 12-year-olds should vote?
I think that kids should be able to vote. And I mean, like, 12-year-olds. I think the minimum age to vote should be 12. Not 16, not 18. I think it should be 12. I'm sure a lot of people will disagree with this, and that's fine, but go ahead and sound off in the comments. Tell me why you think kids should not be allowed to vote. There are countries where the voting age is as low as 16, and I'm sure a lot of Americans would look at that and be like, why in the world are they letting 16-year-olds vote? But yeah. I think that we should lower it even more to 12, because 12-year-olds sometimes have a way better understanding of the political system than the adults in their lives that are voting on their behalf. So I really have not heard a lot of convincing arguments as to why kids shouldn't be allowed to vote, but I don't know, maybe you'll make one. Tell me in the comments.
Babe, you asked, so I'm ready to answer. First off, if a 12-year-old has a superior understanding of our political system than you, that's a damning indictment of your own knowledge, my friend. But no, we already have a problem in this country of way too many uneducated and uninformed people who are able to vote. And your solution is to expand voting to literal children. Put down the crack pipe, babe. Put it down. You've had enough. Look, I worked in childcare for many years, and I can tell you that 12-year-olds can be great, but their brains are still mush. Heck, 16 and 17-year-olds' brains are still developing and still mostly mush. Parents of teenagers, please let me know in the comments what you think of this suggestion. Do you think 12 and 13 and 14-year-olds should be able to decide the future of this country and our political system? Do you think they can wisely decide how taxpayer money should be spent? I mean, there's just no argument for this whatsoever. It's not even like 12 or 13-year-olds are already paying taxes. Like, I could see kind of the argument for 16, 17, 18-year-olds if they're working and paying taxes. They should have some say in our government. Like, I'm not sure I'm on board with that. I would rather just exempt them from the taxes. But I can at least see a little bit of an argument there. As for 12-year-olds voting, there is no argument. I mean, on the brain development scale, they are still so far back. Honestly, I think progressives just want more gullible voters who will fall for their woke utopia narratives and promises of free everything. It's a hard pass for me. Up next, is a $20 minimum wage something to celebrate?
For the first time in human history, something good has happened to fast food employees. Just today, in the state of California, Mr. Gavin Newsom signed a bill setting the minimum wage for fast food employees to $20 an hour. This is so huge for, obviously, fast food workers and for the labor rights movement in general. So much has happened this year. We've gotten so many unions going, so many strikes, and they've been so effective. And I want to keep the momentum rolling. I think it's so inspiring, and I'm so proud of everybody involved. And I want everybody to get out there and unionize. That's the only way we're going to get through this. It's the only way we're going to get things done. You deserve so much more. Your coworkers deserve so much more. Your family deserves so much more. And these CEOs can take the pay cuts. These CEOs can take the pay cuts.
Look, I've actually followed this policy development with California Governor Gavin Newsom signing into law a minimum wage specifically for fast food workers of $20 an hour. And y'all can celebrate all you want. I mean, go off, I guess. It's a victory in your camp for your ideology, I guess. But you're not actually accomplishing anything for the people that you think you're helping. For one thing, you are 100% incentivizing these fast food companies to automate these jobs as soon as possible. And the real minimum wage, no matter what you set the legal minimum wage at, the real minimum wage is always zero. It's unemployment. It's not having a job at all. And that's the fate you're dooming many people to with these kinds of laws. You see, you can make the minimum wage under law $20 an hour all you want, but you can't change the fact that some employees don't produce $20 an hour in value for an employer. So the employer's not going to hire somebody at a loss, lose money with this employee. They're just going to not hire them and find a workaround. And to whatever extent they do have to hire people anyway under this increased minimum wages, they're going to pass along those costs to working consumers who are the same people this is supposed to help. A study of McDonald's even found that where minimum wage hikes took effect, they saw a near 100% pass-through effect where they were passed along through increased menu prices. This is just peak progressivism, honestly. A fundamentally illogical policy, like why just fast food workers? Why not other minimum wage laborers? That's actually going to hurt the people it's supposed to help. If that's not progressive democratic policies in a nutshell, I don't know what is. All right, guys, that's all the TikTok I can handle in one sitting without incurring some permanent brain damage. If you like this video, consider subscribing. This channel's growing really fast, and I'm happy to have you all here with me. But drop a like, comment, subscribe, yada, 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 and I'll see you all in my next video.